On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, we got, unfortunately, more poor effort from Mizzou men's basketball to recap. We're going to discuss some football news and stuff as well. A little bit just kind of get our thoughts together on Corey Batoon. I almost called him Corey Burton. Oh, my God. Corey Batoon. Just you kind of recap. We had that breaking, we did a kind of our instant reactions, talk a little bit more about him. But then, we'll dive into the South Carolina loss, talk about that. And then maybe just drink the haterade, I don't know, ahead of this game against Arkansas. So we'll preview that and then dive into quick hits to finish off the show. So it should be a good one. And of course, before we get into it, the Unwritten Rules presented by our great sponsor, Bet Online. The Super Bowl is here. By the time we're recording this, it is Chiefs and 49ers. I'm a little disappointed personally. That was just Super Bowl a couple years ago. But it is what it is. Regardless, Bet Online has the road to Vegas. And it's your number one source for all your playoff football odds, stats, trends, and lines with everything from point spreads to hundreds of player performance props. We used it for the Fantastic Four picks. And we're going to use it again here for our best beats in just a sec. But head to Bet Online today to stay updated on all the action. Bet Online, the game starts here. Kenny, do you want to run down what happened in the championship bets, or should we save that for Friday?
I think we just save it for Friday.
All right, we'll save it for Friday.
I'm winning again.
All right, there you go. We'll do our best beats then. Best beat of the week. Thank you to Bet Online for all these great lines. Kenny, what is your best beat of the week?
My best beat of the week, I like to keep a connection to Mizzou basketball, considering a lot of the Monday bets are mainly just basketball is what we can go to. So I went with Jackson State, -5.5 against Florida A&M. Need that win on the need that loss on the resume right now to look a little bit better, and I think this is a good way to do it. Jackson State, keep on winning. Best 0-5 team in the country.
Well done. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah,
Great
the resume building's really important right now for Mizzou. I'm going to also keep it connected to Mizzou. Duke versus Virginia Tech. How is this connected to Mizzou, you may ask? Because Buzz Williams, the coach of Texas A&M, who Mizzou has faced, used to coach Virginia Tech. Obviously, there you go. That's a connection right there. Guys, the Hokies are welcoming Duke. There's some anticipation behind this game. I'm taking the Hokies +3.5. Do you know why? Because Torvik has this as less than a point spread. Get it while you can, folks. This is 3 times what it should be. Get it. It's not. Actually, it's 4 times. It's like 0.8. This is 3.5. Folks, it's not going to be this way much longer. Get it before you can not get it anymore.
Payton's like a traveling salesman of Torvik bets. Well done. Duke, Virginia Tech. I'm going to the Big 12, and I am taking Kenny's, I guess not really hometown school, but if you want to call it that, sure. Houston, I'm taking the Cougars, -5. Payton's doing the symbol on the screen. Subscribe to the YouTube, by the way. I don't think I said that in the intro. Yeah, Shasta, guarding the rings. I'm taking them -5 versus Texas. Why am I taking them -5 versus Texas? Not only do I love Houston, but Texas was pulling some BS over the weekend against BYU. They had the horns down shirt on. Texas, crying about it, being absolute haters and losers because they can't handle people doing their symbol. You know what I say to that, Longhorn fans? Go Cougs to beat the Longhorns on Big Monday. Yeah, good luck defending. Yeah, good luck dealing with that. With that in the SEC. Yeah, right, you are. But yeah, those are our best beats. More college basketball. It's pretty much how it's going to be from here on in with football pretty much over. We'll have the finale of the NFL picks, though, for the Super Bowl. There were some shakeups as we were, as the games unfolded today. But so we'll get to that on Friday. But thank you to Bet Online for all those lines. And with that, let's dive into the rest of the show. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to the Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, January 29th. And, Mizzou got their DC. So now we're in, we're kind of a calmer little period, which is a little bit nice. We've had a lot of news, obviously, over the past couple months. We did the kind of breaking news, like our instant reactions to Corey Batoon becoming the new DC. So go watch that. Check that out if you haven't. Thanks to everyone who did. Appreciate that. I know it's out of the usual cycle of Unwritten, but it was just big enough. We thought we had to talk about it. Did well. So thank you. But, kind of a couple days later, I know it hasn't been too long since we recorded that, but do you guys have any new, thoughts, takes, on Batoon and him coming in? That's, kind of the main football thing right now. So, just anything on that front before we then have to dive into another, men's basketball loss.
Not too many new ones. Other than I know someone in the comments said it wasn't a 4.25 that he ran. Pretty sure it is a 4.25. I don't think the Athletic would mess that up. And it seems to have a lot of the same tendencies from what I was reading. Really, we'll know more on Saturdays this fall, even before then. But we'll wind up seeing either way. The thing to me that's most important is that they create a lot of havoc, which was the MO of Blake Baker's defenses. We touched on all that. Want to see that same aggressive mindset from the defense. Don't want them to change too much of that up.
Yeah, I'm glad they kept the death row defensive moniker that came with Blake Baker in that era for Mizzou, and just kind of keeping that same culture around that defense. Another comment that I just wanted to address real quick was on YouTube. Jason Edwards responded to us saying the 2011 Arkansas State roster shows Eli and Corey as assistant coaches under Hugh Freeze. That's incorrect. A lot of those like coaching rosters are sometimes a little bit messed up by the end of the year because they'll drop coaches, add coaches, and never really just fully set it until they bring around the 2012 one. From the research I've done and just kind of looking into both of their track records, Drinkwitz didn't show up at Arkansas State until after the 2011 season because that's when Gus Malzahn left Auburn for the Arkansas State head coaching job. And we all know that Hugh Freeze left Arkansas State after the 2011 season for Ole Miss. And that's when Corey Batoon followed Hugh Freeze into a new role with the Rebels. And that's just where there wasn't an overlap. I mean, there's even like one that's even weirder, that Jacob Peeler almost overlapped with him at Ole Miss. So it's that kind of stuff. Maybe they passed by each other once, but from actual coaching,
On the way out, on the way in, literally. But from like actually coaching rosters and coaching staffs, they weren't on the same one. Yeah, there's like a strange amount of like actual good teams. Maybe that's why like Mizzou, when they change it, it just is like a 404 not found, because there is a weird amount of roster pages that like just get messed up and are just like the facts are just wrong. So no, yeah, it was confusing, but thank you for clarifying that, Kenny, because yeah, I don't know how they don't fix that quickly or have someone to fix that so people looking for info on their new DC have the correct thing. But yeah, they did not cross over. Maybe cross pass on the way in and out of. Where is Arkansas State? I thought I had it. Jonesboro, maybe on the way in and out of Jonesboro. But yeah, I think still an exciting hire. Again, go watch that video. We kind of broke things down there, with what we really think of Batoon and his scheme. I think it's a good hire. I think it's exciting times ahead. And now we look forward to, first and foremost, maybe some of these former Tigers from last year, celebrating them a little bit more and seeing where they get drafted. But then it's the spring transfer window. It's who else they might bring in to try and build on what's been an awesome year and what people will really want to be another awesome year in 2024, because on the hardwood for men's basketball, it is continued to just not go well. Mizzou, maybe we speculated we're going to maybe catch South Carolina hungover on Saturday after the Gamecocks beat Kentucky and stormed the floor midweek. Instead, South Carolina 74, Missouri 67. My first note that I have written down for myself, Payton, your chart was right again. I know you texted a group of us. Literally, Mizzou is up a point in the second half. Immediately, I think South Carolina win on a 5-0 run after that. Tigers lose again. Mizzou shot just 8 threes in this game. They made 2 of them. Both of them were made by Nick Honor, actually. not another loss, another day, and kind of the same old for Mizzou men's basketball. What were y'all's takeaways from this game, good or bad? Maybe anything positive?
I got very little else to say about these losses at this point. They're all the exact same. They followed the same blueprint. Fair enough for Mizzou for battling back. I mean, they opened the second half with what, a 9-0, 11-0 run. One of the, somewhere like that, took the lead briefly, but they have no idea how to close a game this year. I mean, they had a stretch where, from the 10-minute mark to the 8-minute mark, they held South Carolina completely scoreless, and in that time, they scored 2 points. That lost the game. That was the stretch that lost the game, because that was a prime opportunity. It was like a 6-point game at that point. They just could not answer their stops with buckets of their own. And then what do you know, at the end of that stretch, South Carolina hits a 3. You're right. You're behind where you were before that scoreless stretch. So I'm out of words at this point. I just hate a lot of what's going on this team. There's too many bad players that just aren't going to be here next year. The only one takeaway that I had that was positive player-wise was Connor Vanover had an okay game. He had the best plus-minus on the team. He actually controlled the boards all right. Can you
say what that best plus-minus was? Sorry to interrupt.
0.
It was 0.
0 points. He was a bit of a presence in there. They were kind of afraid. It was an undersized South Carolina team, and they did not want to challenge Vanover at the rim. The rest of the bigs were not really much anything. Aiden Shaw, man, Aiden Shaw just needs some kind of confidence booster. He is absolutely terrified when he gets the ball in his hands right now, let alone shooting the thing. I mean, it is an ugly look for Aiden Shaw at the moment, and that's sad because he has all the physical tools in the world. We've said it a million times, but he just doesn't. It looks like he's getting worse.
For Connor Vanover, just for those that know, for people to know, is he played 18 minutes. He had 5 points, all from the charity stripe. He went 0 for 3 field goals, and I, like you mentioned, 7 rebounds. Tied for the most on the team with Tamar Bates, of all people. Not the biggest guy on the floor, but he got tied for the most rebounds for the team. Yeah. The biggest dog. Yeah. Jordan Butler, though, only played 13 minutes because he was in foul trouble most of the game. 5 personal fouls. And going into this game, that's the one I wanted to see, how much of a presence can he have because last time around, he wasn't being considered for this many minutes. He wasn't being considered in the starting 5 at the time, but he struggled with that. This game looks like almost the same, especially in the box score when you compare it to that last one. Because I remember when we were previewing this game, I was saying how when these two faced each other, a lot of the stats were nearly the same. There was maybe just one outlier that kind of separated them, and sometimes it's rebounds, sometimes it's free throws. South Carolina just took a lot of threes, 25 three balls, made 10 of them. Tigers took 8 and only made 2, both of them coming from Nick Honor. And I think that's where maybe the game was kind of beat as well. There was a lot of big threes that, went South Carolina's way. Last thing I'll note, just so people know if they didn't see it, but Trent Pierce and Anthony Robinson were out for this game. Trent Pierce out with an illness, and we know Anthony Robinson was attending his grandmother's funeral, so he was out for that one. So 2 freshmen weren't there. Only 4 guys off the bench in this game.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. When you don't have those 2, I guess your depth is naturally a little bit sliced. It's important you mentioned Robinson. I forgot to say that. Obviously, best wishes to him and his family with that situation. But with the freshmen too, I know you only had Jordan Butler of the 3 available to play, but I want to. I think I said that in the preview, you are seeing the freshmen playing more. For the people who have been asking for that, it has been starting to happen. And Jordan Butler was also in that 0 box plus minus that Connor Vanover had, the only 2 not in the negatives for the Tigers. So I think he's starting to string together, a couple of all right performances. It's still very clear he can't hang yet with SEC bigs. But I think, and Gabe, I know, wrote about this in Power Mizzou, there's something there, I think, with Jordan Butler, and there's something that can be unlocked that will take time. So I think that's good. I think that's an important thing to lean on. But yeah, you guys pretty much said it best. only 8 3-point attempts. They're 14 for 17 from the line. So they made their free throws, still probably not really getting to the line as much as Dennis Gates would expect. And, BJ Mack, South Carolina's big, who dominated in that first contest, still had another good game despite Vanover and Butler playing right. I think he still had like 21 points. So not a hangover game. South Carolina avoided that. And Mizzou, again, is still winless. Guys, I think in times like these, I think we should just drink the haterade, because in a year that Mizzou sucks, quite frankly, in SEC play, 0-7 now, their arch rivals, who, let's not forget, had Final Four expectations by some, also suck. And that's where we go next for Mizzou men's basketball. The 10-10, who would have thought, Arkansas Razorbacks are coming to Como on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Wednesday on SEC Network. You can watch that game. Guys, Arkansas stinks. I don't care how much Mizzou stinks. Arkansas stinks. Is this like is this a right interpretation? This is both these teams' Super Bowl at this point. I mean, neither of them are tournament bound, but Mizzou, if they get 2 wins in conference play and they're both over Arkansas, I mean, it's a good season. It's a good season.
I'm gonna butt in here before you say something, Penny. I just want to say one thing. This is not a Super Bowl for Arkansas fans, because they will never admit that this game matters whatsoever. Maybe to Trevin Brazil, this game matters, but to Arkansas fans, it does not. Go ahead, Payton.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I doubt Arkansas fans think any of their games left are Super Bowls. This is a lost season for them. Boy, they're in a kind of a messier situation than Mizzou, even, because Devo Davis just all of a sudden, he was a longtime Razorback who, gave them a win over Kansas last year in the NCAA tournament. He just went AWOL apparently and is off the team now. He's not on the team anymore, so there's no Devo Davis. Trevin Brazil did not play on Saturday in their loss to Kentucky after he got hurt in their game before. Arkansas is a mess, dude. They don't have guys that can shoot. Tremont Mark is their real lone offensive guy that kind of scares me. But, he's prone to some real big inefficiency. At this point, Mizzou, until they get a SEC win, everything needs to be treated like a Super Bowl. This one in particular, though, this is a very winnable game against a team. There is history here in this matchup. Arkansas stole Mike Anderson from Mizzou. Trevin Brazil has had plenty to say about Missouri since he left, and the less I talk about that, the better, because I'm afraid I won't stop talking about it. So yes, I think Mizzou needs to treat this like a Super Bowl. I hope Mizzou Arena can get up for this game. I know these are terrible teams. I know that it ultimately will be meaningless, but come on. These teams play twice a year, every year. This is a series that I care a bit more about probably than the average person, but come on, just please go to this game. You're in Columbia.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will still chirp at Trevin Brazil, especially from the student section. There's students still there that were enrolled when Trevin was at Mizzou for his freshman year. ESPN Matchup Predictor has the Tigers with a 67.3% chance to win. Probably one of the highest ones that you'll see, especially in SEC play this year. On paper, though, these teams are fairly similar in points per game, in points allowed, field goal percentage. Everything's around 73 to 75 in points per game and points allowed, and then around 44% field goal percentage. If you take away the records, these teams look about the same. And the one thing that the Tigers are just a lot better at is steals, which is funny to say because one of the best defenders in the SEC last year, Demoy Hodge, is no longer on this team, and that number is still pretty high. And that's just where it kind of looks like for that one win for the Razorbacks in SEC play this year was against Texas A&M, close one, 78-77. Wade Taylor went off in that game, scoring more than 30 points. For those that we talked about that, 40. And I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago now. I don't know if you guys saw this, though. It might have been during halftime of the Mizzou South Carolina game. There was a graphic that they showed about Arkansas's slow starts in SEC play, going 1-5 or 1-4, and turning it into an Elite Eight appearance. I understand that they want to show that to kind of show the history of it. This team just doesn't look like those Arkansas teams whatsoever.
And the thing about those teams, I just want to throw that in quick.
Yeah.
They always were very unlucky. Like you looked at Ken Pom, Torvik, all the metrics. They still graded out very high. This year, that is not the case. They're 123 in Torvik. Mizzou, for reference, is 115. Torvik has this as a projected 5-point Mizzou win. Like, this is a game Missouri. Quite frankly, if they don't win, I'm going to be mighty upset. Like, more upset than the average loss.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think every Mizzou fan should, because, like, unlike the delusional Arkansas fans, it's a rivalry, and Mizzou fans treat it like one. And I think should get up for this game. Yeah, Arkansas's bad. It is. I also, as Payton, and I'm sure you did as well, Kenny, when you saw that graphic, kind of scoff at that. Like, I don't think Arkansas is turning much around this year, especially this year in the SEC. There's some tough teams for sure. But yeah, I mean, this is a game Mizzou needs. This is the kind of thing that you can turn the season into at least a couple wins in conference play, and at least be satisfied with having one win over your rivals. Like, even look back to last year. I mean, Mizzou should have, quite frankly, done the double over Arkansas. They were up big in Bud Walton Arena when those teams played there, and blew that in the second half, and then were able to get some revenge in Como. So I mean, this is steeped in history. This game is always pretty interesting, and I expect Dennis to fully kind of get up for it. The one thing I'll provide, I read through an article real quick on the Trevin Brazil narrative. I don't know if there's been anything since this, but he hurt his knee, so I think his status is still up in the air for Mizzou. He didn't practice before their last game. He was out for that, so we'll see where he's at, if that's something to feed. But I think that further feeds into the point that the student section will be chirping at him, especially if he is stuck on the bench and can't go on the court to kind of escape some of the noise. He got a lot of boos last year, from what I remember when he walked on the floor. So yeah, 7:30 SEC Network, Mizzou, Arkansas. I don't know. Do we have any other thoughts? I think you guys both summarized the Hog season well. Weird guys leaving, strange times. I think it's I'm glad you guys back my take, at least to view it as a Mizzou Super Bowl, but we'll see.
I would just say there's nothing that's really going to make you feel super good about this season afterwards, regardless. I mean, it's just kind of a mess. Wins over Arkansas certainly help, though. I mean, I think people take this game more serious than they did, even when us three were got there in 2019. I think it's blossomed into more of a bit of a rivalry, kind of aided by that whole Trevin Brazil thing, and Arkansas fans consistently, turning the other cheek to Mizzou.
Jack, I hope that Mizzou wins this game so you can finally make a video. Everyone loved your football ones, and some people were even asking for them recently. It's can't wait until August or September, whenever that next Mizzou football win is. Hopefully it's in August, and you get to post those. And I told people, I was like, look out for it during the basketball season.
Yeah, you might have jinxed.
And I jinxed it. So Tigers still haven't won in the year of 2024.
I was thinking about that because I was like, maybe the best. Yeah, that's a good stat. I forgot you pointed that out to us. No wins in the new year yet for Mizzou. Yeah, their best win is probably Pitt. I didn't feel like making a video for Pitt. That didn't feel right. It's different when it's a conference game, but certainly expect some fireworks in an Arkansas video. That is also, if it's also Mizzou's first win in conference play. That's what I'll say. Maybe to leave on a hopeful note for the Tigers, who by Payton's trusty Torvik are 5-point favorites against the Razorbacks. Once again, 7:30 SEC Network. You can watch that. Hopefully we're back on here Friday celebrating and boasting and bragging that the Hogs from Fayetteville go down and give Mizzou their first win in SEC play. With that, we will segue and we will close the show out with quick hits. Good little quick hits segment to wrap up. We'll get you to that. Okay, quick hits time. We're segueing, finishing out the show. We got a good quick show for everyone. Not much by way of news. Then we don't want to talk about Mizzou men's basketball losing for that much. Ken Sports Shorts. Kenny, what you got?
I've been really leaning into a lot of the Corey Batoon lore. This is my last one, just because I know Payton loves bowl games so much, and this is a fun one. I think this is a really fun one. So this was the 2011 season. So Corey Batoon's last year. It was his last year at Arkansas State. And you cannot tell me it was not his last year, because I've read it multiple times now that was his last year at Arkansas State.
Northern Illinois GoDaddy Bowl. Yeah.
Oh my god!
That was
my god!
That was it. Yep, that was the bowl game.
Dude, I knew that because Northern Illinois played Arkansas State and then Fresno State in the GoDaddy Bowl in back-to-back years. Dave Doran was their head coach, and then he left to go take the NC State job.
That was it.
I have no words. I have no words. Wow, he's him. He's him. You have a power. You have a power. Payton, one time over the summer, let's do a show where we just go through every Division I team and see how many Payton can get right for their mascot. Like, we just name the team and see like what his percentage can be. Because I'd be willing to bet it's over 90. Or maybe we'll do, Payton, you can be like Jeff Passan with the World Series, but with bowl games. We can just go through every bowl game from like 1999 until now.
I can do every World Series from 1999 until now.
Really?
And who lost? Yes.
Okay, we'll do that too.
Would trip up on the way.
We'll just
Kenny,
do,
give me 2002.
2002, Angels over Giants.
Yep. Dang it.
Okay,
That's
Payton,
the forgotten one.
Payton, who won the Citrus Bowl in 2016?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot harder.
That is a lot harder.
I will.
There's no prior context there.
This was one of my favorite parts about when I was doing the research for the GoDaddy.com Bowl, is that in 2013, Arkansas made it back to this bowl game with an interim head coach again, because Gus Malzahn left for Auburn.
That's how I
they
knew
went
this.
back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm. That's how I knew this, is because I was looking through the Arkansas State coaches that run where they had Harsin, Freeze, and Malzahn, and I was looking at the bowl games they made it at. That's why. At that and the Dave Doran connection at NIU. That's why I know that one.
What was the year that Northern Illinois was really good?
2013 or 2012 when they played Florida State in the Orange Bowl. Jordan Lynch was the QB.
Jordan Lynch. I was thinking of Paxton Lynch, but he was Memphis, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
First round pick.
Yeah. Was he really?
Started like one game. Yeah. He was horrible.
Yikes.
Sorry, Kenny.
It's okay. I mean, you guys have both done it now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the Tucker McCann call. Yeah, wow. We're just.
You want to find another game he was in another bowl game he was in as a DC? I'll let you.
No, I'm not gonna do it. There were some other fun bowl games on there. I'm done. I'm retired.
I'm sorry, Kenny.
It's fine. It's fine. It happens. All right, Dirty Birds.
Yeah, that was quick.
Dirty Bird of the weekend. Mine goes to CJ Gardner-Johnson, of course, the former Eagles defensive back. Now with the Lions, waving goodbye to San Francisco 49ers fans with 5 minutes and 54 seconds left in the first half, while up 20-7. This didn't backfire at all. The Lions went on to win their first NFC championship, advancing to their first Super Bowl. No, that didn't happen. Unfortunately for Lions fans, unfortunately for Payton, the 49ers stormed back, took a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, ended up winning, and they're going to their second Super Bowl in 4 years, or in 5 seasons, taking on the Chiefs again.
Snooze.
Why was this unfortunate for me?
No, it wasn't at all. Because you were one of the biggest Lions haters, and everyone knows that from the last episode. I did see like one of those fan-sided websites for the 49ers posted something about like calling CJ Gardner-Johnson a dirty player. And I don't know if that's who you pointed out as their dirty player. Kirby Joseph does it as well. And that's made me think about it, so I made him my dirty bird.
Congrats on your boring Super Bowl, Payton.
Why are you waving goodbye like this You're up 13
that was dumb.
in the first half. You're not up 38-7. You're up 13. Just a dumb move. I mean, seriously though. I mean, besides, like, they have a bunch of unlikable players on the defense, but why should I like the Lions? Because they lost 13 games 2 years ago? I don't care. They have unlikable players. It's not a likable team. Just because they wear lion blue and the Lions have sucked,
But they're about
does
grit.
not
They're
make them
gritty.
liable.
They want to take
It
people's
doesn't matter.
kneecaps
They have a
out.
bunch of dirty players. I found the Lions hype a little ridiculous this year. They have a few likable players. They have plenty more
Bears
unlikable
fan.
ones. Moving on.
Peyton, I definitely agree
It's definitely-
with where you're trying to go, but if you weren't a Bears fan,
Bears fan.
you would not care whatsoever.
Agree.
Who knows? I guess we'll never know.
This narrative is ridiculous.
I don't hate the Lions like on the level of the Packers or even the Vikings. Like, I dislike the Vikings more than the Lions. I liked Matthew Stafford. I like Jared Goff a bit. I think his resurgence was fun this year. They just have way too many unlikable players for me to get behind them.
I
But
saw a quote saying there were no divas on that team.
Yeah. All dogs, gritty. They deserved it.
yeah,
But they blew
ridiculous.
it, so I
That's why we have a dirty bird on here. Yeah, my dirty bird, we're going to stick in conference championship weekend. We're going with Zay Flowers, who, boys, I think everyone saw it. It might have been the worst drive an NFL player has had in NFL history. Zay Flowers, who had a really deep, like a very good rookie year. I mean, I want to give him props for that. Also, he's a dirty bird because not just he's a Raven, but he was also Boston College Eagle. He had some choice words for Elijah Drinkwitz during the great state of Massachusetts crisis. That whole thing. He made that deep catch. He was wide open, got wide open, great play. And he just, I don't know what he's thinking. He gets up, he like shoves L'Jarius Sneed's shoulder into the ground and flips the ball at him. What are you doing? Why are you doing that, first of all? Then he makes one catch, he gets a first down. He makes another catch, and you can tell he's like, I'm going to get to the end zone. I'm going to celebrate so hard. He dives. L'Jarius Sneed punches the ball out, recovers it in the end zone. Ravens lose by 7. I mean, that is the worst drive you could ever. You can't dream up a worse drive than that. Like,
And then he hurt his finger on the sideline.
yeah, that's right. He goes to the sideline. He's upset, which is understandable. But he punches the bench or something. Apparently,
He threw his helmet down and got like cut. Yeah.
Yeah, jeez, dude. I mean, that is horrible sequence, and it sucks for Zay Flowers because he was great, and he's almost certainly going to be remembered for that sequence from his rookie year. But I mean, he earned it today.
Yeah. I was getting frustrated watching that game, like, for the Ravens. Like, I couldn't even imagine being a Ravens fan. Like, that happening, the Lamar pick, you get the feel like it was just brutal way to have your first home AFC championship game in franchise history. But hey, for most of our listeners, they're probably jumping for joy with the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl. Nick Bolton, he's back. There's a couple others too. Go to Dave Matter. He tweeted all of them. But yeah, good for the Chiefs. Bad for Zay Flowers. You guys covered the NFL. I'm going back to college basketball for my dirty bird of the week. And I'm going with Ed Cooley. He is a dirty bird. Why? Hold on. Let me check. I had the college, but I lost it. Stonehill. He was an assistant. They are the Skyhawks. That's my bird connection. Ed Cooley, of course, the coach of Georgetown University, the once very much beloved coach of Providence. Of course, in that, it was pretty open. Like last year at the end of the season, he left Providence to take the Georgetown job, became the first coach in Big East history to leave one Big East job to go straight to another one. Providence fans, this is a guy who took them to like 7 NCAA tournaments, just were livid.
His alma mater.
Yeah, his alma mater. He's from Providence, was a hometown guy. So on Saturday, Georgetown and Providence played in Providence for the first time since Ed Cooley left. And it was just the scenes before the game. I couldn't get enough of just watching the Providence fans. They were lined up outside of the stadium, throwing things everywhere. Just like the vitriol was just so, like, you could feel it through just even watching it on the screen. just like pure old like college basketball hatred. They booed the hell out of him. Providence won the game. Georgetown's bad. The game wouldn't have doesn't really matter. I think they sealed it with like a windmill dunk at the end. It was just awesome. I mean, that's just what college basketball is like all about, when you have a coaching situation like that, leave. I just thought it was great. Happy for Providence fans and Ed Cooley, man. I know I saw him. He was giving some good exchanges. I don't think he's burned every bridge in Providence, Rhode Island, but man, for the rest of his tenure, probably wherever he coaches, if he goes back there, it's gonna be brutal. But it was just so fun to watch. I don't know if y'all were seeing some of the scenes of that.
Oh yeah. Something about college basketball just brings out kind of the crazier, unless it's SEC football. Some of the fan bases in the SEC get absolutely insane at those games. A college basketball game, do you remember the Texas Tech crowd when Chris Beard went back when he took the?
That's what I was going to compare it to.
Yeah,
a little bit different because Chris Beard went to Texas for school, right, and Ed Cooley didn't, where he went to Providence and left the school. But that game was insane, crowd-wise.
Yeah, no, and then I remember it was a big thing when Mizzou got back in the SEC. Mike Anderson came back with Arkansas. It was pretty vitriolic. I mean, Frank Haith tried to fight him during I think the first game back. It was insane. I don't know. College basketball, it just brings out the crazy in people.
Especially like that was just good old like Big East basketball. Like those programs have been around forever. It's Georgetown, Providence, historic. So yeah, it was just awesome to see the scenes. I saw like one, it was like Ed Cooley, like a Providence fan had. It was like his face on a shirt, but it was like looked like the Providence mascot, but it just said Liar instead of Friar. I thought that was fun. They had like Dunkin' Donuts t-shirts they gave away. It was a wild scene. So he was my dirty bird, Ed Cooley. That's tough. That will probably be the response for the rest of whenever he comes back to Providence. Moving on. Next segment. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Kenny, what time is it? What time is it, Kenny? Fuck. Number 5. We got
Payton's a fraud.
Cam Campbell. Oh no, Cam Campbell. Let me first off preface this with I agree with the second fourth down that he went for. The first one you can debate a little more. But boy, Dan Campbell, I mean, were you thinking about your halftime, like your post-game quips at halftime, man? Where was the adjustment? You blew the game in 8 minutes. What happened, Dan?
Oh, Cam Campbell, disappointing for the Lions. Coming in at number 4 in the third ring, we're going back to Fog Allen, where it was a little bit foggy. Actually, they're playing an Ames.
Or like a little bit fraudy.
A little bit fraudy for the Fraudhawks. Kansas, number 7 in the country, goes to Ames, and the Fighting Caleb Girls take them down. 79-75.
This year. They had 2 points from their bench in the last 2 games.
Frauds, the Jayhawks. Frauds.
We're going to stay in the segment, and we're going to go with the Baltimore Fraudmans. We just touched on it. Zay Frauders. He broke his finger. He didn't break his finger. He cut his finger on the bench.
Fraud.
After he dove.
Fraud.
What is it with teams just crapping themselves when they play the Chiefs? Just so many stupid mistakes. Oh, man. Justin Tucker getting the pee kicked from you and you don't respond?
The Ravens gonna fraud. Chiefs to the Super Bowl.
Coming in at number 2 in the fraud rankings this week, and this one hurts a lot. The Detroit Fraudlands up 24-7 at halftime. Surely that went their way. No, the Detroit Fraudlands lose 31-34
Not
in
a
the NFC
likable
Championship.
team.
You know what they say? All grit starts with fraud.
Brown, frauds. Sam LaFrauda.
Aiden Frotchinson.
And then number 1, we got LaFraud Jackson. Lamar Jackson, what in the world? Have you ever seen a blitz, man? It's very simple to tell what's happening. You need to get the ball out faster. Why are you throwing to Isaiah Likely in triple coverage, man? I don't care if it was PI or not. You don't throw into triple coverage like that with the game on the line. Spike your helmet right after, dude. Zay Flowers did not help you out today, but Lamar, that was sorry. You could have been better than that. We needed you.
from Mark Brown.
Bonk.
First win. First AFC championship game, and that's what we do. Oh, he just dropped his mic.
My mic.
Every headphone user just went. Are you
Yeah,
back? You cut out your audio cut out. There you go. He's back. Yeah, fraud of the week. All right, ratio joke community note. Let's finish the show there.
First ratio of the week. It's a fun one. It's not anything bad. John Harbaugh was dancing after the divisional round win over the Texans last week, and he looked like the dance emoji on iPhones. Everyone knows it in the little purple suit. The thing is, like 94,000 likes for CP316 on X to the Ravens 38,000. The funny thing is, DraftKings Sportsbook posted the tweet first and only got 344 likes.
Ouch.
Yeah,
That's why Bet Online is a better betting company.
Bet Online would get 100,000 likes.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah, tough.
John Harbaugh ate in this photo. You guys want to go see it? It's on the Ravens.
No, yeah, I've
Twitter.
seen it.
Too bad he's not eating a pregame meal before the Super Bowl.
He can still do that.
I guess you're right. I guess you can.
Starve himself.
There's nothing stopping him. You're right. That was a bad analogy. All right, Payton, what's the other one? You got one more.
This one comes from Alyssa Milano, who I believe is an actor. I'm not really totally familiar with her game. But she tweeted, my son, the point is here, this is important to note. Her net worth, according to NBCnews.com in an article about this very tweet, is $10 million. So she's well off. And she tweeted, my son's baseball team is raising money for their Cooperstown trip. We love Cooperstown. Kenny and I, of course, are very familiar with Baseball Hall of Fame. Any amount would be so greatly appreciated. You can read more about the team and donation here. And while that's a very nice thing, Alyssa Milano, you're worth $10 million. You can probably send them all there, by yourself. This one was ratioed to hell. 7 replies. She turned off replies, by the way, very quickly. 7 replies, 5.5 thousand retweets / quote tweets, and 1.5 thousand likes. So, Alyssa Milano, you are ratioed.
It's like one thing. It's like, okay, to say our team's doing fundraising efforts, go support them, to teach the kids, all right, you got to raise money to help your team. But it's another, I don't know. Yeah, that's she could have sent them all there on a private jet if she wanted to.
Someone donated $1,000.
No, it's probably her.
Top ones, $1,000, $794, $351, $350, $250, $200, $200. Jeez.
The reach of Alyssa Milano. That works.
Trump 2024 was the final donation. $10.
Well, that says it all.
Should we donate?
No.
334 people were tricked by a millionaire.
Yeah. We should donate negative dollars. That's when people you see when they get a receipt and they write for the tip -2. That's what we should do. We should someone take money out of there. Anyway, all right. On that note, we'll end the show off. Payton?
Kenny, I'll give you the day off because I ruined your Ken Sports shorts.
Oh, that's awfully nice. I was ready to pin his screen.
This one comes from our favorite. I'm kidding. I don't have it pulled up.
Oh,
we're good.
Don't
we're
you?
good, Kenny. No, I don't have it pulled up.
Okay,
Hands are
all right.
up.
I'll just start reading the outro.
No.
The show is sponsored by Bet Online. Thank you to Bet Online. Kenny, stay in here. You got to trust your friend that he doesn't have a joke. Thank you to Bet Online for sponsoring the show. Hope everyone enjoys. Go enjoy the Arkansas game on Wednesday. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we're coming back. Wow. Oh, Kenny kicked Payton out of the room. Guys, we got to have some trust here. Where was I? Outro. Thanks to everyone listening, watching, subscribe on the YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, do all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Believe Unwritten. That's where the video will go. There and Kenny, what's the TikTok?
It's at Believe Unwritten.
At Believe Unwritten also on TikTok. That's where the video will go for Arkansas Mizzou wins. So
Jack, can you please just finish the outro?
Yes, I will finish the outro once I think of more things to stall and say.
I don't have it today.
All right.
You're just typing. Just send it.
No, I was pretending to type because I knew you were looking at my screen the whole time. So I played 4D chess.
Oh, big brain. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I guess Payton's not going to tell a joke. We will be back on Wednesday or on Friday, hopefully recapping a dub over Arkansas. See you guys then.